for this Shabbat, for this end of Shavuot, when we really were praying that the journey through the wilderness was going to take us to a better time. Instead, we find ourselves again between worlds, between the two Americas. But it's Shabbat, and our work on Shabbat is to take a taste of the world to come, to bring the worlds as close together as we can, so that we can restore our vision of the way things are supposed to be. So I know that there are fires burning around the country. There are people still suffering from a pandemic that continues to grow around the world, but it is Shabbat for us, and a really important Shabbat. So as soon as Jim gets back from bringing the dog some water, we will sing our way into Shabbat. I guess I could begin reading for him with hoping, Arava, if you're there, we are welcoming the congregation Temple Sinai from Palm Desert, California, where my sister serves as their rabbi, and I'm hoping that if someone is streaming from Palm Desert, they'll let us know on the chat. I know that my sister was having a little trouble getting on, but I'm going to check, and I think we're ready to begin our Shabbat service.
Geschrei und Gewalt und Gebilde auf in Wahl durch seine Kinder. I la 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 la, la 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 la.
It's a story used to tell about a father, a child calling for the father, and the father calling for the child. That was connected to that version of Matovu. Is that right?
That version preceded Matovu, preceded the melody.
Can you say something about that?
They took the melody from that old song and applied it to the prayer Matovu, and the former song, I plucked it out of the dustbin of history.
Right.
And breathe air back into it. Thus, it exists.
I just saw that. I do see that there are some people from Palm Desert. So Fred from Palm Desert, welcome. Of course, to all of you. I think there is a little bit of a problem for the Temple Sinai people trying to get on. Randy says to tell them to go to YouTube or the Facebook page.
Central Reform Facebook page.
The Central Reform Facebook page, but that should be working. So we think that there are people that are connected, and we're so glad. I think the world needs our prayers. So let's turn our hearts to gratitude, maybe with the Psalms. Like the prophets tell us to get our act together and to try to be better. The Psalms come. They are the songs of our souls. They sing our grief. They sing our praise. They sing our gratitude. Shabbat is about counting our blessings, even in the midst of pain and sadness and suffering. So let the Psalms sing our souls.
Hine matu manai sheberachim gam yachad. Hine matu manai sheberachim gam yachad. Hine sheberachim gam yachad. Hine matov sheberachim gam yachad. Hine matov banayim 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 sheberachim gam yachad. Hine matov, hine matov, ay 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 ay. Hine matov, hine matov, ay 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 ay. Hine matov manayim sheberachim gam yachad. Hine matov manayim sheberachim. too.
Gam yachad.
I got
All
another
together.
one.
Good. All right. I hope you're singing with
another
us. I hope you're singing with us.
I got another one. Hine matov. You don't know this one.
I do.
Oh, you don't? Hine matov. Hine matov. Manayim shever achim gam yachad. Hine matov. Manayim hine matov. Manayim hine matov. Manayim shever achim gam yachad. Hine matov. Hine matov. Manayim shever achim gam yachad. Hine matov. Hine matov. Hine matov. Manayim shever achim gam yachad. Hine matov. Hine matov. Manayim hine matov. Manayim shever achim gam yachad. Yachad.
Maybe a little hallelujah. So I see that my wonderful sister Arava serves as the rabbi of Temple Sinai in Palm Desert, California. Found her way into one of the many portals that we are streaming and connecting with each other this morning. How we need to do this. How we need to feel one, not only in protest and injustice, which is so important across this nation, but it's also important to feel connected on this Shabbat as we find ways to praise. Hallelujah. Let us praise God.
Hallelujah.
In all ways we can.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I'm going to do a different key. Hallelujah. Bekocho. Hallelujah. Berkia uzo. Hallelujah, bigvorotav, hallelujah, kerobulo. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, beteka shofar. Hallelujah, benebe bechinor. Hallelujah, betofu machor. Hallelujah, b'mini v'buga. Praise God in the sky for the mighty acts. Praise God for greatness and blast of the horn. Praise God with the harp and the lyre and the oud and the flute and the timbrel and the drum and the dance and the pipe. Cymbals crashing, cymbals howling. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Betzilzele shama. Hallelujah. Betzilzele turuah kol haneshama te'alelia. Kol haneshama te'alelia. Let everything that breathes thank and praise God. Hallelujah. hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
As we transition into our prayers, join us in the Reader's Kaddish. Yitkada ve'yitkadash shemei Rabba ve'alma divrach yirutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'chayedechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kariv ve'imru amen Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam yomei omaya yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata tamiran be'alma Ve'imru Amen. We call each other to prayer with the words of the Baruch Hu, the call and response. Are you ready to pray? We surely need it on this Shabbat. Second day of Shabbat.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed Hamevorach Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Morning light this morning here, at least in St. Louis, is glorious. I hope it is that way. We praise creation and we praise the source of love that is our way of lighting up the world. No? Okay. And then we turn to the words of the Shema. The words of the Shema that remind us that we are all connected, that we are all one, that it's important to listen to each other, to be witnesses to this truth. Aid. Shema Yisrael, listen, you God wrestlers, you people who think you know what God is and God just isn't. I am everything. You are in me and I am in you. It is the plurality. It is the unity. It's everything. It's one. So please, sing with us the words that God sings to us. This prayer from God to the people, the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ושופך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני Adonai Elohechem. Amen. In every service we know that we need to sing the same words that Moses and Miriam sang at the shores of the sea, celebrating that moment of freedom, hoping that we would be the advocates, we would be the ones that would remember what it was to be slaves, so that we would make sure that until all people are free, we know no one of us can be completely free.
מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורתי לא תוסף אלה. שירה חדשה שיבחו גילים לשמחה שפתיה, יחד 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 כולם כולם הודו והמליכו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך, ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. לעולם ועד. ועד צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ופדחנו ממך יהודה וישראל. גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. With Miriam, Haniviyah, the prophetess, she took a drum in her hand and we all followed her with drums and dancing. And Miriam chanted with us. Shiru le'Adonai ki ga'o ga'a. 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 Sus v'rocho ramavayam. Sus v'rocho ramavayam. Shiru le'Adonai ki ga'o ga'a. Shiru le'Adonai ki ga'o ga'a. אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Oh God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare, my mouth may declare. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tihilatecha. Oh God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah,
Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah v'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיה כל עטרה והושיע. מחכה חיים בחסד, ומחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומצהיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו בשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך מניד ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. Kedusha, holiness.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמנו, כך כתוב על יד נביאך. וקרא זה ויאמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך יבוא אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו ואבינו מלכנו ומושיענו והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם ימלוך אדוני לעולם. אלוהיך ציון לדור עמדו. לדור ודור נגיד גולך ולנצח נצחים קדושך נקדיש. ושכחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We're praying that this is a peaceful Shabbat. Shamru, it says, you guard Shabbat, she'll guard you back in some way and renew your soul. So I know that everyone is aware of the response to the terrible killing of George Floyd, Minneapolis, Twin Cities. And people are speaking up across the country, and St. Louis will never be silent. We are just a few miles from Ferguson right here. And the protest today in St. Louis is supposed to be kind of across the street from our house at the Justice Center in Clayton. And we can see the Justice Center from our front porch. So I'm going to ask that as we sing this promise from the book of Exodus, another time where people had the holy chutzpah to do the right thing, to speak up, maybe non-violently, that there will be people speaking truth, but that it will be peaceful. It may not happen today because we had a death last night, the death of a protester was crushed. So we're praying for his soul and praying for his family. Praying for all the families, of course, at Yizkor, who have lost people. But for Shamru, we guard Shabbat, this gift of time. And she guards us back. She renews our souls so that whatever it is we need, we will have to respond in the holiest of ways to whatever it is that we face, whatever is before us.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ששת ימים עשה את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. The children of Israel shall keep the Shabbat, observing it in every generation is the covenant for all time, between me and the people of Israel. For 6 days, the Eternal One made the heavens and the earth, and on the 7th day God rested. Vayi nafash. God breathed the soul into creation. Vayi nafash. God breathed the soul into creation. Sim shalom tova uveracha. Peace, peace, peace. Sim shalom tova uveracha. Goodness and blessing and peace, peace, peace. Sim shalom tova uveracha, peace and blessing, kin v'chesed, v'rachamim v'rachamim, and mercy, and mercy, and mercy. Sim shalom tova uveracha, chen v'chesed, v'rachamim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch atah Adonai, Usei Shalom, peace, peace, chen v'chesed, and goodness and mercy, tova uveracha, v'rachamim, 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 mercy on us, all of us, and all people. Oh, blessed are you, maker of peace, chen v'chesed, v'rachamim, rachamim, 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 aleinu v'al kol amu Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Osei Hashalom, maker of peace.
We imagine that people have lots of quiet time at home for silent meditation. I hope that's true. I know that these days can be awfully busy. They seem to be going fast. So normally we would have a moment of reflection, of quiet. And I hope you'll take that today. We'll just kind of transition with these words, maybe, into the Torah service.
Usei shalom bimroma, yaseh shalom Ya'kov Yisrael, v'imru amen. Yaseh shalom,
Yaseh shalom,
Shalom aleinu v'ya'kov Yisrael. Yaseh shalom,
Yaseh shalom,
Shalom aleinu v'ya'kov
Yisrael.
Yaseh shalom,
Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu v'ya'kov Yisrael.
Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu v'ya'kov Yisrael. Yaseh shalom,
Yaseh shalom,
Shalom aleinu v'ya'kov Yisrael.
a little bit of Torah, lots of choices for Torah today. And Jim's going to offer, I think, Torah maybe from the Torah portion. Nessa. There's a special portion for the Shabbat of the second day of Shavuot.
I'm going to read from what's read in Israel.
But in Israel, since there's
Naso.
only one day, the portion would be Naso. And of course, it's a wonderful portion, the portion that teaches us about the Nazir, the Nazarites, and what it means to sacrifice, and the part about the blessing.
So we'll all make the bracha together, and then I'll read the blessing of the priest, the Kohanic blessing, the threefold blessing. It has at least 6 parts to it, though it's always called the threefold blessing. Okay.
What else?
Often, so when we bless, we'll bless from the particular to the universal. We learned it this morning. 3-part to bless is to shoot, C-H-U-T-E, from the individual, the inside, the inner point of truth, to the experience of the universal. 1 foot in the particular pool, 1 foot in the universal pool. Brecha, blessing. They have 1 foot in the particular pool, the inner reality, and 1 foot in the universal pool, the universal reality. To be blessed with the experience of moving from one to the other, as it is here, so it is there. As it is in the particular experience of the inner point of consciousness, it's called, so it is in the universal experience of the apprehension of the all, shlemut, of everything, the everything, capital E. That is a blessing. And to be blessed with that is to be blessed with the experience of the all, the everything, the A-L-L, capital A. Hakol, in Hebrew, hakol, everything. The pleroma. Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah. V'yedaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. And God spoke to Moses, saying, Daber el Aharon ve'el banav lemor. Speak to Aaron and to his children, saying, Go tevarchu et bnei Yisrael. This way you will bless the children of Israel. Amur lahem. Say to them, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and may God protect you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's face shine to you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha. May God's face be lifted to you. Vayasem lecha shalom. And grant you with an experience of the all. V'samu et shemi al bnei Yisrael. And you shall put your name unto the children of Israel. V'ani yavarachem. And I will bless you. I will fulfill all your blessings. Vayehi v'yom echalot Moshe liakim et hamishkan. And it was in the day that Moses finished the tabernacle, where he vayimishach, he anointed oto, he anointed it, he blessed it with oil, vayikadesh oto v'yakol kelav. And along with all the utensils of it, V'yet hamizbeach, and the altar, v'yakol kelav, and all the things that are used on the altar, v'yisachem v'yikadeshotam, and all the things that are used there to make them holy, v'yakarivu Nesiei Yisrael, and all the princes of Israel, including Prince, came close. Urashe b'nei avotam, the heads of the houses, hey Nesiei Amatot, and the princes of the tribes, Hem ha'omdim al ha'pikudim, all that were present in there during the counting. Yaviu et hakor, and they came lifnei Adonai sheishaglotzav v'shnei asar bakao, and they were bringing offerings and wagons and oxen. Mincha belula b'shemen mincha. B'shnei Yisronim soled mincha balula b'shemen. Yishnei anasiyim b'shorei achar v'yachrivu otam lifnei hamishkan. And they brought all the offerings since he had received the instructions from God to do so. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו, ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה. אמן.
Amen. 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 With hearts opened by Torah, it is our tradition to offer a mishaberach, a healing prayer. We know that there are people that are suffering from this virus, but we also know that there are people who whose hearts are broken. I just saw a message from one of my very favorite people in the whole world, Terrell Wooten Jr. Hi, little Terrell, who's not little. We went to the streets of Ferguson together. Terrell was living in Ferguson at the time and a member of CRC at his bar mitzvah with us. And I promised him as a young black boy that when he was a black man that he is now, that we would try to make the streets safer for him. And we're not giving up, Terrell. We're not giving up. So for all those whose hearts are broken today as well, who are in so much sadness and pain and agony throughout our nation, let's offer a mishaberach, a healing prayer. Is that a prayer for healing? And I do have some names that people have sent to us. If you have a name, I know I can only get some of the chat here, but for Finn Naylor, for Art Silverblatt, for Wanda Stutz-Ryan, for Debbie Dwyer, for Meredith Pritchard, Elaine Thornton, Rick Hack, Gail Rock, Deb Montford, Huey Powell, who received a kidney from a friend, continue to heal. Specialist Evan Richards, we hope you're safe. Morris Tamsky, Carrie Schulman. I know these are just a few of the names of the people who are working. Working so hard to heal. Aviv Batmaya, Lois Loomstein, we pray for your mama every week. And Hans Moshe, Ben, Vera HaKohen, for all of these good people that you hold in your hearts. Know that if you direct your heart, we know that our prayers don't always heal, believe me. We know, but we have to try. We have to shout out to the universe, dare to shout out to the universe for what we hope for. Certainly we hope for healing for the broken heart of our nation, the broken heart of the world.
רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף. For the healing of the spirit and the healing of the body, for those we know, for those we don't know. On my right, the angel Michael, on my left, the angel Gabriel. In front of me, the angel Uriel. Behind me, Raphael. And above my head, 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 Shekhinah. Michael, who is like a God, Gabriel, God is my strength. Uriel, God is my light. Raphael, God is my healer. Above my head, above my head, above my head, above my head, Shekhinah. Baruch atah Adonai Rovei HaCholim. Blessed are you, great healer. Blessed are you, great healer. Blessed are you, great healer. Amen.
for Deb Caton, Kiernan and her daughter, who also tested positive. Was supposed to be a Viva's bat mitzvah this morning in St. Louis. We're looking forward to a time when we're able to have all these bar and bat mitzvahs that have been rescheduled for Larry Ravitz and Kenny Astrin and Mark. There are lots of names that have just come up. We'll continue to hold them in our hearts as we offer these healing prayers. Now we face Jerusalem, another place that could use our healing. Should we do Aleinu then Yizkor? No?
Okay.
We'll do Aleinu, and then we'll, before Kaddish, we'll add our Yizkor prayers and look forward to lifting up the memories of all of those upon whose shoulders we stand. Join us. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו And on this Shabbat morning, also the second day of the Chag of Shavuot, we add one more of the 4 Yizkor services. The services that were added because there was so much death during the Crusades and the plagues of the Middle Ages. People needed to, and we didn't know when everybody died. We had to put together a ritual that would honor all of them, that none of them would be forgotten, because we know everyone dies once, but God forbid we should die twice when people don't remember our names. So we will take the time to say as many names as we need to say, because these are the names that represent whole worlds. As cities across America rise again in protest against the unnecessary killings of Black and brown Americans, we gather to remember that all life has infinite worth, that every life is a whole world, that we remember the people whose lives gave our lives meaning, that every life gives meaning to someone. We in St. Louis know about the protest that comes from injustice, the protest that is the voice of the marginalized, that when the rules of justice don't apply to everyone, when they do not hold those in power accountable, after all of our counting and trying to say that everyone counts, we find there is little to count on. I thought of the prophet Jeremiah, who long ago must have given up on the possibilities for peace. He said, Lo yishama b'harei Yehuda u'v'chutzot Yerushalayim. Never again will there be heard in the streets of Jerusalem, the hills of Jerusalem. Never again will there be heard the sounds of joy, the sounds of weddings and children playing in the streets. But the rabbis refused to give up. They knew that as long as there was memory of the simchas we shared and those that we loved, their beautiful lives, as long as we remember them and honor their memories by living and loving more, and that we promise, as hard as it is to continue with our lives without them by our sides, we will, in spite of all of that pain, continue to celebrate their lives. We will fall in love again. And in spite of what we know about this fragile and broken world, that we will still make sure there will be weddings and children, because only then will there be hope for peace someday. So the rabbis changed Jeremiah's words, and at every wedding we repeat them. We say, Od Yeshama Bahari Yehuda. There will be heard in the hills of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem the sounds of joy and happiness, the voice of the groom and the voice of the bride, the voices of children at play. On Shavuot, we renewed our commitment to this covenant, and the Torah was our ketubah. We studied all night because we believe that the heart of the world opens to our prayers, informed by our learning. And this week, we also read the portion of Naso, which holds the priestly blessing. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and keep you and all those you love safe. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha, may God's light shine upon you and show you mercy. Yisa Adonai panav elecha vayasem lecha shalom. The Sfat Emet asks, what does it mean, vayasem lech or lach shalom? As Jimmy said, shalom or shlemut, wholeness, is that inner point of truth. Because within even the smallest bit of light, everything necessary for peace is contained in it. And that's why we call God Shalom. For God is the wholeness of all. And when we are aware of this wholeness, even a tiny point, a single moment, one simcha, one right action can contain the infinite fullness and joy of godliness that keeps us believing that the good in us will win. God bless you. And then no matter how sad or broken or lost I am, or you are, or Israel is, or the world is, or this nation is, we will never lose our faith. And we can respond with a spirit of hope and not of despair. So we remember the warning of Jeremiah and the challenge of the rabbis. It says that as long as we celebrate our relationships and our lives in holy ways, peace is possible for our people and for all people, because all we need is that point of light to have the hope we need. Yisa Adonai panav elecha vayasem lecha shalom. May God's light shine through all that we do here, that people everywhere are blessed with peace because we remember. Yizkor says we are a people who remember. And this Shabbat brings us to this Yizkor of Shavuot, the memorial service that follows the revelation of Sinai. This Yizkor service tells us that we must remember those who sacrificed for our freedom, and remember all of those we have promised would not die in vain. Because to be a Jew is to remember. Our memory flows through all of our rituals and recitals of our stories and prayers. But it is not for the sake of literal history that we remember. It is for the sake of meaning. When we write on Passover, when we recite on Passover our story, my father was a wandering Aramean, it is not to prove history. It is to root us and connect us, that we may use the great gift that we have that allows us to learn from and build on the past, to let it light up the present and dares us to make a better future for all. We say these prayers that we are about to say for those we have loved and lost. And I invite us today to also say them for George Floyd, for Breonna Taylor, for Ahmaud Arbery, for those worldwide who have died from this pandemic, and for those that you will name who should not have been sacrificed. Please, God, may their memories always be for a blessing. These are specific prayers that we say. We say, Yizkor Elohim, Nishmat, all of our loved ones, Shehalchu la'olamam, Ba'avur, Shibli Neder, Etain Tzedakah, Be'ado, Bizchar, Ze Techei Nafsham, Tzuro B'tzror Chaim Et Nishmatam, Avraham Yitzhak V'Yaakov, Sarah Rivka, Leah V'Rachel, V'im Sha'ar Tzadikim, V'Tzidkoniot, Shebegan Eden V'Nomar. Amen. We pray that God remembers the souls of all of these we are about to name who have gone into eternity and whose memory we will offer to contribute to charity. In reward of this, may the souls of those we will name be bound in the bonds of eternal life, together with the souls of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, and all of the righteous who are now in paradise, as we say together, Amen. So let me read, I'm going to read the names that I have from Temple Sinai in Palm Desert. These are your names, these are your people, and I know that you hold them in your hearts with your own. Paula Allen, Nino Balbini, Francis Balin, Margaret Cates, Harold Cohen, Dale Cowell, Loretta Krulak, Nan Effner, Lillian Fox, Judy Gottesman, Brenda Green, David Gross, Dan Happold, B. Hirsch, Barbara Jacobs, Maury Janowitz, Martin Feldman, Tanny Kamey, I hope I said that right, Kathy Kapler, Kay Kleinman, Vern Coslin, Adele Lambert, Sylvia Lambert, Louis Landgarten, Frida Slominski Lehman, Lily Levy, Jonathan Lubens, Max Lutz, Marcia Ruth Mayerstein, Saul Menashe, Donald Pierce, Nicole Pisani Torres, Charles Rhodes, Michael Sachs, Philip Siegel, Bell Smith, Ryle Sondak, Bertram Steinman, Norma Stempler, James Stetz, Aidan Thomas Stevens, Betty Watkins, Larry Wine, and this is Herman Walk, the Herman Walk, who was a personal hero writer of mine, part of your community, Caroline Zemmel, Arthur and Elaine Sachs, Miriam and Norman Ross. I hope, Temple Sinai, that we have remembered all of your people here. I see Milton Weiss, Irving Yitzhak Meltzer, Joan Kayangi Timangu, Clara Chaya and Ben Bendit Glassman, Aunt Mitzi Schiff and Uncle Alan Schiff, of course, all the young men and boys, black and brown, we have lost to senseless bigotry. And Rachel, I know you say this for your beautiful children as well. And we are here to protect them, I promise. Janet Rosenbaum, Roberta Gardner, Bella and Joseph Levin, Leon and Sylvia Falkowitz, Samuel and Frida Falkowitz, Mickey Iris. I hope I haven't missed any here. I don't know if I can move that. Did we get all of the ones on the screen? So I have more, of course. I have from CRC, the yahrzeit at this time. I'd like to start with the wonderful artist Sarah Lindquist, wife of Robert Fishbone, mother of beautiful children, and said to me before she died, Rabbi, have I left enough of myself for my children? Liza, Tyler, and of course the answer is yes. If we remember, they leave enough of themselves for us. For the yahrzeit we have now, Ronald Alter, Norman Gordon, Amy Fleischer's dad, who sat at our Passover table so many times, Eddie Berg, Bert Bodner, Leo Samet, Alan Schiff, Lottie Bloth, Evelyn Levine, Joseph Rischel, Evelyn Tenopolsky, Phyllis Aronoff, Sidney Bear, Phyllis Bloom, Jimmy, your mama, Pearl Goodman, my mother-in-law, Harry Lesser, Dina Lipsitz, Cecilia Rothberg, beautiful artist Linda Skranka, Sheldon Levy, Catherine Nymark Steen, Louis Patz, Florette Patz, Fran Sherman, Colonel H. Daniel, Arthur Guller, Joseph Weil, Marion Berkowitz, Robert Brucker, Arthur Hermelin, Jack Kerman, Hannah Levy, Rosalind Moss, Michelle Newman, beautiful Michelle, young, too young. William Patton, Iona Patricia, Shirley's sister, Manuel Schwartz. Those are our yahrzeits. And then we have here, I think I got those. Diana Havana, Andre Havana, I hope I'm saying that right, from Max. Debbie Siegel, of course, will come up on this list. I have another list from CRC. And again, the names are so important. Those who have died this year: Dr. Jerry Levy, Howard Canefield, George Lamb, Jack Krieger, Ignatius LaRocca, Maria Davidson, Naomi Taub, Joan Stoner, Janet Rosenbaum, Mitch Burrs, Deborah Rischel, Janet Goldfarb, Jan Sutton, Paula Sue Berg, Lena Saxon, Linda Barton, Sandra Rosen, Sandy Gurwitch, Louise Mandel, Ralph Schauer was 104, Sandy Jaffe, Rita Balk, Judy Jones, Sherman Stiefelman, Carol Goldman Gerstein, Jude, Eli, Anton McCarty, who did not open his eyes when he was born. We kept him alive for 3 days, and he still changed the world. Never even took his own breath in this world. And we remember him because he opened our hearts. Little Jude, Eli, Anton McCarty, I remember you. Joseph Sherman, Laverne Emanuel, Suzanne Glazer, Ethel Schwartz, Harriet Sector, Patty Oberman, Pat Dewey, Susan Silver, Melvin Lester, Julie Eichen, Estelle Handler, Charles Allen, Tom Trieger, Robert Wufsey, Aaron Corson, Leonard Kaminer, Evelyn Goldberg, Marilyn Corley, Bruce Rosen, Gloria Sirota, Dr. Elliot Gilman, Robert Temko, Donald Simmons, John Isaacs, Monty Ross, Bernard Nunley, Joanne Hanley, Debbie Siegel, we said, Ann Erke, Stanford Goldman, Shirley Goldstein, Claire Hyman, we miss you, Jane Tarlow, Maureen Mo Billy, Albert Tota, Ruth Friedman, Monica Ollendorf, Dolores Pattis Moonshine, Silverberg, John Kepler, Alan Woolman, Bonnie Hundman, Tom Gilbert, Alan Goldman, Fred Handler, Betty Gershman, Sandra Stone Feinstein, Don Holtzman, Jackie Pultman, Lou Osheroff, Aaliyah Light, Bonnie Levins, Claire Kroll, Harvey Weiss, Shirley Sewell, Lily Aviva Atkinson, Lillian Eichen, Gil Nussbaum, we miss you, we miss all of you, Clarence, Shelley, Molly Frohlichstein, Colleen Landefeld, and Fred Handler, who was a physician who died of COVID-19 serving the people, Robert Mass, Naomi Taub, I think I said, and Joseph Taub, and Josh, who was only 30, who took his life this past week. We're so sorry. Hyman Weinstein, our friend Todd's father. And I know there are so many more. We remember our daughter Adina, who gave meaning to so many people's lives. And I hope that she has found her way to all of those, our loved ones who have gone before. Just before she died, she said she saw Mama, her grandmother, maybe. Ron Stone, David Reed Hubert, David Zieser, Liz Duff, Mary Margaret Testa. And there's so many names, every name. Okay, Byron Wetzler, who passed on Memorial Day at the age of 62. I'm so sorry, Liz. Is that who you were caring for? I think it might have been. For all of these good people, Sandy Richter. Yeah, I think I did say her name. Thank you. Yes, Zichronam Livracha. Thank you. May all of their names be a blessing. And I'm going to ask Jim to chant the Almolei Rachamim prayer for all of them. And we have a translation that was brought to us from Daniel Estrin, who was the NPR reporter. think he may have said that his father wrote this prayer. So I'll have Jim do the traditional Hebrew, and then we'll read the translation that he has sent for Sandy Hammer.
Yilmale rachamim, shochin b'maromim, amitzei menucha nechona, al kanfei hashchina, b'ma'alot kedoshim u'teorim kezohar rakia mazirim. נשמתם שהלכו לעולמם בעבור שנדבו צדקה ביד אזכרת נשמתם בגן עדי מנוחתם לכן בעל הרחמים יסירתם בסתר כנפיך לעולמים בצרור החיים את נשמתם אדוני הוא נחלתם וינוחו על משכבם בשלום ונאמר אמן.
Amen. Amen. God, full of compassion, you who dwell on high, please grant perfect rest to the hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children throughout the world who have suffered and died during the coronavirus pandemic. Among them are grandparents, parents, spouses, partners, children, siblings, and friends. Among them are the heroic doctors, nurses, EMTs, police officers, grocery store and delivery workers, transit drivers, and other essential workers on the front lines of the crisis. Many died isolated in nursing homes and hospitals, unable to comfort them in their final days and hours. Many of their relatives and friends grieved alone, deprived of a public funeral, a shiva, and the opportunity to recite the mourner's Kaddish. Merciful God, shelter them in your divine presence, among the holy and the pure, whose radiance is like the brightness of the sky. May their memory inspire the world to find improved ways to relieve suffering and decrease loss of precious life. O God of compassion, shelter them under the cover of your wings. Bind up their souls in the bonds of eternal life. May they rest in peace, and let us all say together, Amen. Amen. So, dear friends, we remember all of them. Do you want to offer a poem or something before we say Kaddish?
Yeah.
You got something? We come to the end of our service together, but not without the words of the Kaddish, especially on this day. You know, we're able to hold the joy of Shabbat. We're able to hold somehow the hope for the future, even as our hearts break, even as we face our deepest despair, our greatest losses, because we know that grief is measured by love. And so as we have remembered those who have been taken by the coronavirus, whose families have not been able to be there with them, we also must think about all the disparities that have caused the suffering of the Black and brown community in this country because of racism and white supremacy. And we have to pray that somehow the way that the Kaddish lifts us up, by daring us, by challenging us to live more fully and to love more fiercely, even in the face of our despair and our grief and our loss. We have to believe that the good in us will win. So the Kaddish becomes an old friend to those of us who have loved and lost, those of us who measure grief by our love. And we say it together. And I trust that there are enough of us out there that make this a Kaddish that will be heard throughout the world, that it will be a Kaddish that will honor those we have named, all of those you hold in your hearts at this time of Yizkor. And maybe we can ask them to be angels and to guide us to responding in holy ways so that we can protect all of the beautiful lives that grace us all. And so I invite you all to join us in these words of the Mourner's Kaddish together. Yitgadal, v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malkutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayedach ol beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kariv v'imro amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechmata t'amiran be'alma v'imro amen. Yehei shlom Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imro amen. Oseh shalom v'mermav u'ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. May the source of peace bring peace to each and every one of you, each and every one of us, as we say together, amen.
Ve'imru,
So let's offer each other a blessing. Again, thanking the people from Palm Desert. I hope you're still there with us. I hope this technology kind of worked and we were able to share this Shabbat and this second Yizkor service together. I had the privilege of joining a study group there some years ago. It's a beautiful congregation with a beautiful spirit. And I'm grateful to my sister Arava for being there, for all the learning that we have done together, from the learning I have done from her. I often say she's the real rabbi in the family, and just grateful. So let's, if you're with someone, put your arms around them. You're in your quarantine space. If you're not, we're reaching out to you, and I hope you could feel the blessing from our home to yours as we say.
Yurechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and guard you and keep you safe on this journey we are on together.
Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha.
May that light, may the light flow through us and help us bear light to those who need it.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's presence truly bring you peace and awaken that inner point of light that reminds us that even the smallest bit of light is all we need, because everything is contained in it, and it is up to us to grow that light Because when we are aware of this wholeness, even a tiny point, a single moment, one simcha, one right action, will contain the infinite fullness and joy of godliness that keeps us believing that the good in us will win, so that no matter how sad or broken or lost I am, or you are, or Israel is, or the world is, we will never lose our faith, because we will respond with a spirit of hope and not of despair. And may God bless you with peace.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Adonai, if you're still with us, let's do one more song. Adonai, shout it out. Do not fear. Let our actions be inspired by love and not fear. All the way to Israel and Paris, France. Send these words.
Gebiati Adonai velo ira Into your hands I entrust my spirit. The time that I lie down and the time that I rise up. With my spirit, my body too. God is with me, I shall not fear. Biado afkir ruchi ve'etisha ve'ayira ve'imruchi Kaviyati Adonai 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 Valoira Adonai 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 Valoira Adonai 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 Valoira Adonai.
Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. So much love from our home to yours. Shabbat Shalom.